just going to keep living without the vaccine for as long as I live without the vaccine. Yep. There's people that's died already and they've had 3. I'm not that vulnerable. I can say no. That's the first line of defense. Whatever happened to autonomy, you know? And if you believe in God, in God's image, try forcing God to take the vaccine. You must be joking. There's more comfortable ways of living. If you look closer to living right, you get less illness. The sickness of the mind. The maladjusted. The ones who need to be in centrally heated, hermetically sealed conditions most of their lives. Greenhouse plants. They haven't been hardened up enough. So if you put them out, they wilt. Or they just dissolve in fungus. Or they sport in every direction into marrying with whatever other plant life they fancy. Or if they're GMO creations, they'll pollute everything they touch. If the plants are taking junk food, like putting salt on a snail, like people get their stuff from the supermarket and they forget to read the label. Habits of convenience can kill you. Be aware. I don't operate on a specific frequency, but I see that some commentators do. And I would say that gentleman Bjorn Bull Hansen, the Viking wannabe thing, that he admits being a capitalist, and he's got kind of he admits to being a former hypnotherapist, which he quite enjoyed, and he understands, I understand he has some craft skills in that direction. And I've been monitoring his progress as a sort of channel, because the romance with the past and stuff, I can understand it. I've got that myself. You know, my name is Reinhold, okay? And I'm from Yorkshire. So I do understand that my village was started by Vikings, all right? So I've been immersed in the history. So I'm not prejudiced in that respect. We all have to move on. We shit history, really. And we just take the benefit of the experience forward. And that's what we impart. Now you use your experience of Mr. Bjorn Bull. You're fake. You're not living that life. You're not aiming to. You're aiming to support your very standard, normal car, house, family, etc. And you're marketing a product. But it's on a frequency which is subliminally dangerous. It can trigger people. Now, if somebody gets hooked on your channel as entertaining, confirmation bias thing, you know. I mean, I'm not being prejudiced, but you have to say what it is, and that you want them to agree with you. And perhaps subscribe to your t-shirts or your hoodies or whatever else, you know, and all your merch, and you know, you're buying stuff, you know, you're endorsing products, and you know, all that. Fine, fine. But your hypnotherapy angle and your morbidly sounding, miserable sounding, considering your affluence. You're bloody miserable sounding. You sound hopeless even though you've got the kit. Even though you've got a living you can do from home. Even though you've got land. Are you helping people get land? I mean, it's no good saving dogs if man's gone. What, you're hiding behind a dog charity? Yeah. All right, well. Try not hiding behind the internet virtual begging bowl. Because Vikings didn't do that. You know, they didn't beg on the internet. They didn't drink cans of lager or fizzy drinks or coffee. And I would bet you they didn't speak on hypnotic specific frequencies monotonously on and on in that hopeless kind of sounding way that is only going to be virally infectious. Now, people get radicalized in lots of different ways, whether it's on Instagram fashions, you know, what do they call them? Cosmetologists, nail bar analysis of your whole health, you know, like that, or beauticians, or whatever. They get into fashions and they get kind of hooked on certain habits of convenience, pressing the keyboard or dibbly-doubling on their little applications, just as much as, you know, as a regular entertainment. They're coming into your space and imagination takes over. See, ignorance having not been displaced with real knowledge and experience. Imagination and ignorance become the dominant factors, and influential voices at specific, I will say, potentially hypnotic frequencies can subliminally influence. And you might say, and I think you might have, that they wouldn't do anything that they wouldn't want to do, and you can't force them to do it. Well, you obviously don't know enough about specific frequency programming. Or you know too much about it and you're capitalizing on it. It can have a disastrous effect. You have a duty of care for everything that happens as a result of your work. A duty of care. A suable factor. Culpability should be accepted if it's a possibility of an accident. Are you insured against it, given your professional background? That's like, for instance, if I was a black belt martial artist or a professional boxer, I would have to be so controlled that I didn't accidentally do the business on somebody, however morally justified. It wouldn't be legal, it wouldn't be lawful if it caused harm, and if you were superpowered by your craft skills. Superpowered, I would say, by the normal standard. Assault with a deadly weapon, you would be banned from your field of activity for life. You would have zero credibility in your profession. You would be blacklisted as being a danger to the public, and you would probably end up having to pay your whole land, your house, your mortgage, and your car to the people you hurt by proxy. How do you think manipulative political parties do it? I think you need to address the hopelessness of your cause, because I noticed it before the Norwegian bowman came along, before the thumbnail of your site with the compound bow. And when I briefly glanced across the hypnotherapy thing, where it was like you were making an apology, and one wonders what your true politics are, because I can tell you, left, right, or centre doesn't make a lick of difference to me. I see things in the round. But your personal politics is what you silently do, what motivates you. It's no good telling us what the dangers might be lurking out there, you're fear-mongering. You're not even up to date. More than 20 years ago, a German geezer in Ireland was trying to assert his ancient rights with a longbow. Waxing poetic, you know. You got surrounded by the Gardaí and taken away. The psychiatric treatment. But he wasn't a cause of subliminally indoctrinating or by proxy influence, ripple effect, domino influencing. This thing bloody nutter. He was just the result. Before the internet was even invented, we knew most of what they're only just discovering on it now. We learned to compute. It's no good doing everything by trial and error and oops, I didn't know that would happen. That's lazy man's intelligence. What you can get out of it now. What good or harm will I be leaving as a legacy of having committed this act? And how long will the damage last? And it is possible that without you even knowing what you're doing, which I'm sure you don't. You just know what you see you doing. You in your image, in your mind, and how you will present yourself, and what it must look like. See my poverty? I've got some really good hand saws up there. Just upgrading my facility is all. Start from nothing, stay at nothing, you know, no visible income. £80 a week pension from Britain. I didn't want to work for money. A born again Viking, I suppose, honorary one. I used to supply the Viking Association with quarterstaffs made of ash with twisters in it, where the honeysuckle vines had strangled spirals into the tree. I'm a forest dweller by rights, and there's not much forest left where I live. Hardwood mixed forest is what I like. They destroyed that first. My lot were in service for the empire. We mixed. Us kind of Vikings do that well, mixing. Come back to find there is no home for us in our own country. So we got on a boat and we left again. Voluntarily this time. No need to press us into your navies. You're a tribe that stayed at home, Mr. Bull. There's a lot of folk like me that found that there wasn't a home when we got back. And I'm not going to start again for that. So I left them with the vacuous space, and they just fill it with rubbish, fantasies and cartoons and plastic gimcrack stuff. Stuff that falls apart over a couple of weeks or months, and then you have to buy some more. And I left the plastic of the credit card over there. I never used it anyway. I had my whole life's work embezzled from me, so you know, but I had learned to be poor to start with. Now that's something that Bull Hansen hasn't yet learned. So his lessons are bogus, they're hand-me-downs, sponsored hand-me-downs, chancing for return. That's hardly charitable, and it's a cynical move given that he's got hypnotherapy skills. Okay? I just thought I'd say that out loud, and probably in public, because I'm putting it on the YouTube. I don't know how long it'll stay there, it doesn't matter. It's just a postcard, I suppose. You can read it or not. Your friends can read it. Well, they got a chance. It's called Cut the Bull. bed nicely, that.